Hi everyone, Gareth from the Presenter Studio here, and these are 12 tips for success as a TV presenter brought to you by us here at the Presenter Studio. Now, tip number one is all about image. It's really important that you've got some sort of look, and that look really reflects the type of work that you want to do, whether that's children's, whether that's youth culture like ITV2 or BBC3, or whether that's something on BBC1 Sunday afternoons like Country File. It's really important that you've got a look, and it's really important as well that your social media tallies up with that too. Tip number two is all about the power of being nice. As a producer, when I'm looking for presenters for projects, and that's what our day jobs are, it's really important that I find somebody that I'd like, that I warm to, that I think is going to be really nice to work with, and also somebody that I think the viewers are going to want to too. So make sure that you're nice. Make sure that you follow up emails or meetings that you might have with a thank you message. It really does help, and it really will see you well on the path to success. And that comes down to our next point as well, which is all about being proactive. It's really important that actually you get yourself out there. You try and set up your own meetings. You try and get in contact with the right sort of people that work in the area of television that you want to work in. This really is a numbers game, and you have to send out lots of emails in order to get just that one meeting. But that one meeting could be that golden meeting that you've been trying to get for a long time. Tip number 4 is the showreel. It's quite hard in television to get work unless you've got a showreel. And the golden rule of that showreel is that showreel needs to really reflect you. That showreel needs to be who you are. It needs to showcase your unique voice, your unique style of work. And also it needs to reflect the kind of thing that you want to do in television. So as a producer, when I'm looking at it, I can kind of get who you are. I understand what you're going to bring to my project, and I can kind of see clips that are similar to the kind of ones that we might be doing on our type of program. It's a really hard thing to get right, but it's also a really important thing to get right too. The next thing, if you are being really proactive, it's really making sure that that email that you're sending out is a really good email. And so many of us make those emails way too formal, and they're too much of a formal sell of you as a presenter. But actually, that email should excite me. It should kind of be personable. I should warm to you. So make sure your language in the email is nice and conversational. Make sure the email is nice and short. You also want to include a YouTube link to your showreel on that email, and try and get me as a producer to think, I really want to meet this person. This is time worth spending, rather than, yes, they sound very professional, not too sure what I'm going to do with them, which is often the case on the back of emails. The next tip number 6, is all about agents. And actually, a lot of us can have a primary focus when it comes to trying to get work, and that primary focus can be, I want to try and get myself a presenter agent. The truth is, it's very hard to get an agent unless you've got a job. And also the truth is, you actually, in presenting, don't need an agent to get work. It's not kind of like the world of acting. So actually, really, our advice to people is get yourself out there, be proactive. If you don't need an agent to get work, then don't just make that your primary focus. And then when you don't get an agent, don't just give up. There's so much more stuff that you can be doing. And the next thing is tip number 7, don't focus on the professional. And there's a real controversial statement coming up now. In television, we don't really want a presenter. I want, as a producer, when I'm looking for presenters or looking for people for projects, I want a personality. I want someone who's going to bring my show to life. So again, this is all about finding your own voice, developing your own style, making sure that your showreel reflects that, make sure that your social media stuff reflects that, make sure that your email reflects that too. Being professional sometimes can just be a little bit dull and a bit of a turn off, and really isn't the way that we all work in this industry. So then the next thing is all about making sure that you develop your own unique style. And everything that you do, therefore, in your showreel and your socials, it needs to be your language, your own way of doing it. And I think there are presenters out there that do this so well. Think of Claudia Winkleman and how she's really crafted a long career out of being a quirky, comedic, but journalistic presenter. There's so many unique attributes that she brings to the table. And it's so exciting to work with her because you know as a producer, she's going to own it and bring her own unique style to your program. And that basically is what we all need to be trying to do. Tip number 9. So this is all about making sure that you understand the area of work that you want to work in, the area of TV that you want to work in. And television works in quite a similar way to the music industry in that if you want to be a singer, you very much know what area of the music industry you want to work in. So that might be classical music, pop, R&B, jazz, folk, hip hop, whatever it might be. And it's exactly the same in television. We all have, and we all work in these separate departments, and we call them the genres of TV. And it's really important that you understand which genre, which department you want to work in, and that everything fits and works with that genre too. So yeah, understanding the area of TV that you want to work in is tip number 9. Now, tip number 10, really important, having ideas, hugely important. Again, basically, this is show business. Be proactive as we've already advised you, but have ideas that you want to present. And if you look at so many of those successful, big presenters out there, your Simon Cowells, your Anton Decks, your Phil and Kirsty's from Location, they've actually all got their own production companies who are all coming up with program ideas for them, and they're all being proactive. And that basically is the headspace to get into if you want to be successful as a presenter. Tip number 11 is to have an interest. It's quite hard to get work in TV unless you're into stuff. And clients of ours that have flown the furthest, that have got the bigger jobs, that have got the bigger jobs on the ITVs, BBCs, Channel 4, Channel 5s, they're basically all into stuff. They've got hobbies, they've got interests. So they might be into the world of finance, music, sport, gardening, people, stories. And it's actually all those hobbies and interests that are often currency for getting work. So make sure that you're into stuff, make sure that you showcase that on your showreel, and make sure as well that you showcase that on your social media. And then the final tip, tip number 12, is make sure that you get advice from the right people. Television is a really hard industry to navigate yourself into. It's quite a closed door, and we're not very helpful in helping new people come through into our industry. So when you do go out there and get advice, make sure that you're getting advice from people who work in the industry, who have worked in the area of television that you want to work in, who've made some big shows, who've worked with some big presenters, because getting some bad or wrong information can really impact on your own career and actually can waste so much time and sometimes money. And I think that's when we really come into our own here at the Presenter Studio, is giving people industry advice that is current and that is valuable. Those are our 12 tips. I hope they've been of use to you. Wishing you lots of success in 2025. And thank you so much for watching. I've been Gareth, one half of the Presenter Studio.